Everybody, I just wanted to do an update of what's happened the last few months. I know I've only posted one video so far, and it was right when I first started seeing a fertility specialist, and he was going to have us do our first IUI with a Clomid cycle, and that ended up in a negative, so that didn't work. I did have some notes here. I had 2 follicles. One was 15 and the other one 12. And that's when they had me trigger, was cycle day 11. From what I've been reading online since, it seems like everybody triggers a little bit bigger than that. So, but mine seems to think that's good enough, because then once you trigger, you still have the potential that it's going to grow a bit more. But that's what I had that cycle. My lining, though, was only 5.1, which now that I've been doing this for a little bit longer, I realize that's really thin, and I kind of voiced some concern about that. So they eventually took me off Clomid after doing 3 months of it, because my lining pretty much stayed always in the 5s, so pretty low. So I did total of 3 months on Clomid, 100 milligrams each month, and only 1 IUI though the first month. The other 2 we didn't do IUIs just because it was the end of the year. It was November and December, and that far in the year my husband didn't really have any more time to take off from work, so we decided we would just wait for the actual IUIs until the beginning of the year when he had more personal days and time to take. So we just did the 2 cycles on the medication, but we just kind of did everything at home and didn't go in for the official IUI. The things I did do to try to help, though, because Clomid's known for drying out your CM, so I, after reading online information, I ordered pre-seed, and we were using that to try to help combat that possible problem. But all 3 of those cycles came back negative. After that, we moved on to, in January, they went ahead and switched me. Since I've been doing this for 3 years, they decided they wanted to be a lot more aggressive, and they switched me to injectables. So in January, I was put on my first cycle of Brevell, and I was doing 1 dose a day. So it's like 75, I don't know, but just one of the little doses. Not sure what it's considered. Milliliter? Oh, 75 IUs. So I was put on Brevell. And that cycle, we did do an IUI. And let's see, what did I have? My lining did improve. Sorry, let me find the correct month here. My lining went up to 8.7 by the time they checked me on cycle day 11. And I had really just 1 follicle that was probably going to mature. That was 16.5 on the day they had me trigger, which was cycle day 11. And I had a 10, so that was probably not going to quite catch up. But the lining improved a lot being on the injectables instead of the Clomid. And they did have me do the trigger on day 11, and then we did our IUI, the 2 days later, the 36 hours later, and unfortunately that one didn't work either. It got a negative, 2 weeks later. Things I did different that cycle was we continued the pre-seed, and then I actually started acupuncture that cycle because I've been reading a lot about it online, and I discovered my insurance company does cover 20 visits to an acupuncturist throughout the year, just my copay, which is really good considering none of my fertility treatments or medications are covered otherwise. But for the acupuncture, they don't consider why you're going. They don't even ask. You just get so many a year. So I figured, why not try? It doesn't hurt. So I've been starting that since January. I've been going almost twice a week, once to twice. But unfortunately that was a negative. So that pretty much updates you for those missing months since my first video. Now I'm on my 5th cycle with the fertility specialist, and on this cycle he has us using the Brevell again, but he actually doubled my dose. So I do 2 of those little vials every night, and I started on cycle day 4. Since my cycle started on a Friday, they couldn't see me until Monday to do the baseline, make sure there's no cyst. So I ended up starting a day later than I did last cycle. So it was cycle day 4. And I've been doing that every night up until I'm going to be doing that again tonight. I might video that, I'm not sure. But let's see. I had my baseline check, and there's no cyst or anything. And that was... So cycle day 4, which is Monday, February 3rd. And I'm also seeing acupuncture, so I had an acupuncture appointment that day too. They went ahead and had me do the double dose, and then I saw them again this past Friday, which was February 6th, which was my cycle day 7. And on that day, what did they see? Oh no, sorry. It was Friday, which was day 8, cycle day 8, which was February 7th. That day they did an ultrasound, follicle check again, and then blood work for the E2 levels. And I had about 6 follicles that day. One was about a 9, and all the others were about 8s. My lining was a 7.1, so still better than the Clomid. Still a little bit thinner than I think they like to see. And my E2 came out about 78, I believe. I'm still not very sure what's considered good numbers for the estradiol. That's new to me. They didn't do all that estradiol blood work when I was on the Clomid, so this is totally new to me still. Now, today I had an appointment this morning, and it's cycle day 11, so today is the February 10th, and again, they did blood work and they checked the follicles. I ended up with only 2 that might mature into something out of those 6 I had on my prior visit on Friday. So this morning I had a 12 and a 14, and my lining was 8.2, so that went up, and the follicles increased quite a bit over the weekend, so that was good. Still a little bit small to trigger. So this is my first cycle where they actually don't have me triggering on day 11, which is good because I think those are still too small, and I kind of worry that they keep triggering so much sooner than it seems like everything I'm reading online. I know I can't go by everything I read online, but it worries me when I see everybody else talking about, you know, their specialists don't trigger until like 18 to 20 and sometimes higher, and mine have had me trigger on like 15 and a 16.5. So it just always seems like it's a little bit lower than what I read about. So they called me back today. They decided they want me to trigger tomorrow evening to go in for Thursday's IUI. And they're hoping, I guess, between today and tomorrow, they'll, you know, grow like another 2 millimeters or whatever it is. So then hopefully I'll have at least a 16 and a 14. So it's still kind of so-so. So I don't know how I feel about the size, but they seem to want to do that. That's what the specialist wants. So I'm going to be doing my trigger shot. My appointment is Thursday at, my actual IUI is at 2:45. So I have to trigger 36 hours before. So it'll be tomorrow night at 2:45 a.m. So I've set my alarm and get up in the middle of the night to do my trigger shot. Things I'm doing this cycle, again, I'm continuing with acupuncture using the pre-seed. And that's really, yeah, that's pretty much it. I probably will do the pineapple core I've been reading about. I haven't tried that yet. I know you're not supposed to do that until after ovulation sometimes, so I'm going to probably look that up again closer to Thursday just to double check how you're supposed to go about that. And I'll try that because I figure that doesn't hurt. And that's really it. A different cycle, I tried the pomegranate juice, but I kind of only did that 1 month, and I haven't been doing that since. That tastes really gross. If anybody's tried that, I mean, if it's really gonna make a big difference and it might help, I mean, I might give it a try again. But it is gross. I had to sit there and add that to, like, I think I ended up adding to ginger ale because we had that in the house just to try to help the flavor because it was pure pomegranate, and to me it smelled like beets and it tasted just very unpleasant. So that's really where I'm at right now. So I'm just going to be doing my 2 shots or my 1 injection of the double dose of Brevell tonight. Tomorrow I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to just do the actual injection, my trigger shot, and then IUI Thursday. So I'll go ahead and I might make a video in a second here of the injection I'm doing tonight. So if anybody's not familiar with that, I can show you how to do it. It's not too bad. It was kind of intimidating at first, but once you do it a few days in a row, and with me being 2nd month in of doing them, you kind of can do it pretty quick and it's not too bad. And I'm a person that's completely terrified of needles and it's not that bad. You get over it. But, oh, I have one question for anybody that's listening that might be able to give me pointers or any information if you've gone through any of this. Progesterone. I read a lot, again, online, about girls and women, you know, whatever, being prescribed progesterone after ovulation until, you know, about 2 weeks later when either, you know, your cycle begins again or it doesn't. And I was just wondering, you know, if a lot of you had to do that. I've asked my doctor about it, concerned with why, you know, I haven't been put on anything like that. And he just doesn't seem concerned with that at all. I know all my progesterone levels have always been low whenever we did a 21-day progesterone check. I mean, it's enough to, I guess, indicate ovulation, but it would still, like, my 1 month was like an 8 point something, and my other month I think was like 13 point something. So it's not that high, at least not from what I've been reading. And I asked him, you know, twice now if, you know, maybe I should take anything after the IUIs for the 2 weeks, and he just keeps saying no, it's not necessary. So I don't know if he's just kind of not into doing that, if that's just not, maybe not his normal way of practicing. So I'm going to ask him again after this IUI and just really stress to him, you know, if he doesn't feel like it's going to hurt me, then why not at least let me go ahead and do it? Because it would make me feel better. Just give me a peace of mind. I know it might not be proven whether or not it'll be the difference, but if it's not going to actually hurt me, then I'd rather just try because it can only benefit me. So if anybody has any information about that, I would appreciate it. Just leave some comments. And if you guys have any questions, if there's anything I didn't think to mention, I'm kind of new at this still, so just guess leave comments and I'll try to answer your questions. I'll update you guys later, and I'll probably do a video tonight for the Brevell. Bye.